I'm Dr. George Flynn, and you're watching In-Depth TV. And I was so fascinated the other day because I found someone, and we all see these graffiti things all over cities, wherever you live, whatever city you live in, whether it's California or Minnesota or Florida or Texas or Memphis or Arkansas, Tennessee, Mississippi, everywhere we see graffiti. And some of this is pretty good artwork. But I see it on, train, box cars. I see it on bridges. I see it on anywhere there's a wall, you can find graffiti. And I've seen it on the side of buildings, and you've seen it too. And it's obviously done with spray paint, and you see it on buildings and really high. I don't know how they get up there to do it. But the artwork is not bad, some of it. But what I've seen is graffiti. And I finally found someone and actually, quote, caught someone in the act of doing graffiti. And I wouldn't, far from me to go up and try to stop some big guy doing graffiti. And I went up and I said, what is it you do? Why do you do graffiti? Why do you do this? And he was very insightful and thought about it for a minute. And he said, well, I do it to change the world, to make my mark on the world, to make sure people knew I was here. And I thought about it, and I thought, well, don't we do a lot of the same thing? We put up statues. We have awards banquets. We have a significant amount of, effort to show people that they're appreciated. Now, I'm going to give you some rules, not rules, but some ideas of things that you could do. And you'll listen to them. You'll say, that's a good idea. That's a great idea. Let's do some of that. Now, the hard part is doing it. Even though it's very easy to do, we get these ideas of things we can do to change the world, and we put it off. I'm as guilty as you are of doing this, putting these things off. And what is it we put off? We put off showing appreciation. Appreciation. And I said it slowly because I want you to take in the term. Appreciation. And that story about the guy doing graffiti, it's like an artist. And he was doing it, and he was making this elaborate painting. He wanted someone to appreciate the work he put in, the fact that he was a human, or she was a human being, and could do this. Now, on the boxcars, that's a traveling billboard, basically. But what I'm talking about is not graffiti. It's about showing appreciation. And a lot of people are not happy. And a lot of it is because they don't feel appreciated. They don't feel significant. And when you don't feel significant, one of the major things, and I've talked to people that have been in the jail, and I was glad I was on one side of the bars and they were on the other side of the bars. Talked to people that have been in prison, incarcerated, and they say, I felt so little. But man, I picked up that weapon, that gun, and I felt tall as a building. I felt like I could do anything because I had that weapon of destruction and I could hurt somebody or kill them just with my finger. Now, I've got to tell you, that is frightening. And so when people feel like they are insignificant, it doesn't matter, why in the world would they want an education? Doesn't matter. Why work for it? Why study? It doesn't matter, because they say, I don't matter. And what I'm trying to say is, you can show people that they matter. And it's not that hard to do. How do we show people that they matter? We have awards dinners like we were talking about. We have appreciations. We have plaques. We have trophies. We have all kind of ways of showing people they're appreciated. Now, one thing I do not particularly, I care for it, but I hate to see it happen because it happens too late. At a funeral, we'll have a celebration of someone's life. Celebrate it now. We don't need to wait till someone dies. Show them that you care. Show them that you appreciate them. Show them that they mean something. The fact that they're on this earth, the fact that they are living and breathing, I don't care if they can do a work that helps you or not. The fact that they are existing, show them that you appreciate them. Now let's see. You can change the world. You can totally change the world with this appreciation. Is it going to be hard for you? Well, no harder than writing a note, sending it to them, picking up the telephone, calling them. You know, most people carry their cell phones with them. Find out the numbers, or a text, or an email, or something to tell someone you appreciate them. That is a simple way for you to change the world. And I'm going to give you the secret here. This is the real secret. Who gets the most benefit? You do. It's just like, I don't know if you've ever taught a class or not, but the teacher gets more benefit from the class and learns more than the students do. Same with appreciation. You get more benefit than the person you're telling that you appreciate, or the group. What does it do for you? Now let's get it. What's in it for me? I understand. What happens is people will want to be around you. You'll be more popular. You will probably have more business, have more friends, have more people actually calling you up and telling you how much they appreciate you. How do we do it? The rules of appreciation, the general guidelines. They're not rules, they're guidelines. Because you can tell someone, if someone is thanking you, you can tell whether they're sincere or not. And the big, big difference is, I want you to be sincere. Be sincere. Do not fake appreciation. If you can't be sincere, don't do it. But if you want to change the world, do it with sincerity. And then you might say, well, how can I be sure that they know I'm sincere? It's not hard. What you need to do is have some concrete ideas or concrete things that you appreciate. You want to tell them who you appreciate. You want to tell them, you. And you might just say their name in there. You might say, hey, Ms. Smith, I really appreciate you. And if you leave it at that, it's better than nothing. But if you go the next step and add in a sentence or two more, it magnifies the appreciation effort by about 1,000. Just about 1,000. You can start off and just do, one. But if you want to magnify it in the next few seconds, here's the way you do it. You say, I appreciate you for your dedication, or for your ability, or for your effort. Just for what? What do you appreciate them for? And you can come up with it because you know the person, you know something about them. It may be something they did. They held the door for you. And you can remember that. So you don't do it right at the moment. You do it a little bit later. You say what they did and when they did. I remember you. I was coming out of church. I had an armful of books or papers, and you held the door for me at the 11 o'clock service last week. Wow. Do you see what that's done? And it was just them holding the door. That's all. You telling them where it happened. You telling them when it happened. You tell them what happened and who did it. And the beauty of this is you've not only said you appreciate them, but you remember it. And the fact that someone is remembered and some good things that they did are remembered. Now, we all remember the bad things everybody does. And we emphasize, I remember the time that you ran a red light, or I remember the time that you... No, leave that off. Leave it off. You're going for the good, for the positive. Because if you go around looking for the negative, what do you usually find? More negative. If you go around looking for the good out of people, they tend to want to do more good things because you're looking for it. What happens to you? You all of a sudden become their hero because nobody else seems to want to appreciate it like this. Now, this is a good group to be in. And what you say, well, nobody's ever going to appreciate me for doing this. No, it won't happen. You say, I want to get some appreciation first, and then I'll start giving it back. Well, there's a story about that. There's a guy that came in from the cold into this house. It was snow was all around it. It was kind of like a log cabin. And the guy was looking at the potbelly stove, and he said, put out some heat first, and then I'm going to put the wood in the stove and start the fire. But I want some heat first. Now, you may be laughing about that story, which I did because it was kind of ridiculous. Put out the heat first, and then I'll put in the wood and light the fire. Well, aren't we not being that ridiculous when we say, give me some appreciation first, and then I'll put some out? No. You put some out first, and you'll get it back. It may not be from the same place you put it out even, but you keep putting it out there, and it is guaranteed that you will get it back. And we all want to be appreciated. So I'm telling you, as soon as this program's over in a few seconds, you call up somebody, you write a note, you tell them how much you appreciate them. I'm Dr. George Flynn. I appreciate you being here, and I look forward to seeing you next time.